There was a time when opening a cold beer wasn't just about the drink. It was about the moment. Backyard barbecues, Friday nights at the bowling alley, long drives with the radio playing soft rock hits of the 80s. Those were the days. But like so many things we loved, some beers didn't make it. Today, we're raising a glass to the ones that faded away. 11 discontinued beers that once defined the good times. If you love nostalgia and the golden days of America, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more memories from the past. Meister Brau. Back in the late 1960s, when America was learning to balance indulgence and health, one Chicago brewery quietly changed the way the world would drink beer. Meister Brau wasn't fancy. It was honest, blue-collar, and ahead of its time. They dared to believe that beer could still taste good while being lighter, something unheard of back then. In smoky taverns and neighborhood bars, men would gather after work, crack open a cold Meister Brau Light, and feel like they'd found the perfect middle ground, a beer that didn't weigh them down. Its slogan said it all, the light and lusty beer. It carried a promise of a modern America that still knew how to enjoy life. Though the brewery eventually faded away, its legacy never died. From the ashes of Meister Brau Light came a name every American would come to know: Miller Lite. And just like that, one forgotten beer quietly shaped the future of an entire industry. Olympia Beer. In the misty heart of Washington state, where pine trees stretch tall and rivers run clear, there once flowed a beer that seemed to capture the spirit of the Northwest itself. Olympia Beer wasn't just a drink. It was a local pride, a symbol of small-town gatherings, fishing trips, and long summer evenings by the lake. Founded in 1896 by a German immigrant named Leopold Schmidt, Olympia carried a simple but unforgettable slogan: "It's the water." And somehow you could taste it. That pure, crisp Tumwater spring that made every sip feel honest and alive. For decades, it sat in coolers at family picnics and on bar tops across Washington, a quiet companion to everyday life. But time changes everything. Production moved, the demand faded, and in 2021, the taps finally ran dry. Still, for those who grew up with that golden can in hand, Olympia will always be more than just a beer. It's a memory of home, bottled in time. Pete's Wicked Ale. Back in the late 80s, when beer in America mostly meant light lagers and easy nights, a man named Pete Slosberg dared to dream differently. From a small kitchen in Connecticut came something bold: Pete's Wicked Ale. Rich, dark, and unapologetically full of flavor. It wasn't just a beer, it was a statement. The very first American brown ale, smooth yet powerful, crafted for people who wanted more from their pint than just a buzz. It captured the spirit of a changing time, when young brewers with big ideas were starting to challenge the giants, one bottle at a time. For a while, Pete's Wicked Ale was everywhere. In college bars, backyard parties, and the hands of those who believed beer could be an art form. But like all revolutions, it burned bright and fast. By 2011, the last of it was gone. Still, for anyone who tasted that first sip, Pete's Wicked Ale will always be remembered, not just as a beer, but as the moment America rediscovered its taste for craft. Bud Dry. In the late 80s, when American beer was all about easy drinking and familiar flavors, something new was brewing. Something inspired by Japan's fascination with dry. In 1989, Bud Dry hit the shelves, crisp and clean, with almost no aftertaste, a beer for people who wanted something different, something modern. Its commercials were everywhere, strange, funny, unforgettable, with that one line everyone remembered. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. For a while, it worked. You'd see it at parties, tucked in coolers at weekend barbecues, and ordered by those curious to taste the next big thing. It was the beer of a moment, a flash of the future that didn't quite last. By 2010, Bud Dry was gone, leaving behind only that slogan echoing in the back of our minds. And yet, for anyone who grew up in that era, hearing those words still brings back the feeling of a time when even a beer could feel new, bold, and full of possibility. Billy Beer. In the late 1970s, America had a president and a brother everyone seemed to know. Billy Carter, with his southern charm and love for a cold one, became the kind of folk legend you couldn't make up. So when Falls City Brewery, a small Kentucky company on the brink of collapse, decided to make a beer with his name on it, Billy Beer, it felt like the perfect idea for the times. The cans came with his signature and his words. "I had this beer brewed up just for me. I think it's the best I ever tasted." And for a brief, shining moment, it seemed like everyone wanted to taste a piece of that Americana. You could find it in gas stations, on tailgates, stacked in garages, not just as a drink, but as a curiosity, a souvenir of a simpler, stranger time. But like the man himself, Billy Beer burned bright and faded fast. By 1978, it was gone, leaving behind only a few dusty cans and a smile from a chapter of American life that could never happen again. Falstaff. There was something noble about Falstaff beer. Even the name carried a kind of old-world charm. Born in St. Louis, back when the city was alive with the sound of clinking bottles and the smell of hops in the air, Falstaff once stood proudly beside giants like Anheuser-Busch. Its light, crisp American lager was the taste of a hard-working afternoon, a reward at the end of the day. Through the 1930s and 40s, Falstaff wasn't just a beer, it was a companion to family picnics, to small-town bars filled with laughter and jukebox tunes. But as the years rolled on, the brand faded quietly, outpaced by the very industry it helped build. Today, when someone spots an old Falstaff sign rusting on a brick wall, it feels like a postcard from another time, a reminder of when beer had a story, and every sip carried a bit of American history. Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve. There was a certain magic in a cold bottle of Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve, the kind that could only come from the misty heart of the Pacific Northwest. Born in Portland, a city that practically breathes hops and history, this Bavarian-style lager wasn't just a drink, it was a celebration of craftsmanship. Smooth, golden, and easy on the tongue, it carried a quiet pride, the kind of beer you'd sip slowly on a wooden porch while the rain tapped gently against the window. For decades, it was the taste of the Northwest, shared among friends at backyard barbecues, after long hikes through pine-covered trails, or during lazy Sunday afternoons, when life felt simple and good. But like many great things, it couldn't outlast the tides of time. When production stopped in 2021, it felt like saying goodbye to an old friend, one who had toasted countless memories and helped shape Portland's beer-loving soul. Krueger's. Before beer cans filled every fridge and tailgate across America, there was Krueger's. Back in 1935, this modest New Jersey brewery did something revolutionary. It put beer in a can. Imagine that moment, a time when people still poured from heavy glass bottles, and suddenly, you could hold a cold, portable drink of freedom in your hand. Krueger's cream ale and finest beer became instant sensations. Crisp, easy to carry, perfect for picnics, fishing trips, or lazy afternoons on the porch. It wasn't just about the taste, it was about possibility. The sound of that first can cracking open marked the beginning of a new era in American life, one that made beer part of everyday moments, big and small. Though Krueger's itself faded away by the early 60s, its legacy lives on in every icy can we pull from the cooler today, a quiet reminder of where it all began. Red, white, and blue. There was a time when a beer could capture the spirit of an entire nation, and Red, White, and Blue did just that. Born in the summer of 1899, right around the 4th of July, it carried the pride of the American heartland in every crisp sip. Brewed by Pabst, it wasn't fancy or bold. It was honest, refreshing, and affordable. In the 70s, you could grab a six-pack for under $1, the kind of beer you'd crack open after mowing the lawn, or while sitting on the porch with friends as fireworks lit up the sky. It became a symbol of simple times, backyard barbecues, laughter echoing through summer nights, and a kind of patriotism that didn't need words. And though Red, White, and Blue quietly disappeared when the taproom closed in 2020, for those who remember, its name still brings back that unmistakable taste of American nostalgia, cold, uncomplicated, and proud. Hoppin' Gator. If you grew up in the late 60s, you might remember a strange little experiment that showed up in corner stores. Hoppin' Gator. A beer that didn't quite know what it wanted to be. It was part hops, part Gatorade, a lemon-lime lager dreamed up by the very man who invented the famous sports drink. It sounded wild, maybe even ahead of its time. A refreshing twist for those long summer days when beer met energy drink in one bright, citrusy sip. But America wasn't quite ready for that kind of hybrid. People didn't know if they were supposed to drink it after mowing the lawn, or after a workout. Still, for a brief moment in 1969, Hoppin' Gator captured that restless spirit of innovation, a time when anything felt possible, and even your beer could surprise you. Today, it's one of those quirky memories from a daring, experimental age, the taste of a bold idea that fizzled out, but never really disappeared from the stories beer lovers still tell. Miller Clear. Back in the early 90s, there was this strange obsession with making everything see-through, sodas, colas, even beer. Miller Clear was born from that crystal craze, promising purity, lightness, and a cleaner kind of buzz. It poured into the glass like sparkling water, clear, bright, almost too perfect, yet it still carried the familiar scent of beer. People were curious. It looked futuristic, like something out of a New Age commercial, a drink for the health-minded dreamers of the decade. But when that first sip came, it just didn't feel the same. The golden hue, the warmth, the depth, all gone. It was beer stripped of its soul. Still, for those who remember it, Miller Clear was a symbol of its time, a glimpse into an age chasing purity and innovation, even if it meant losing a little of the flavor that made life, and beer so good. Maybe we'll never taste these again. But some memories don't need a bottle to be opened. They live on, in our laughter, in old photographs, and in the stories we still love to tell. So here's to the beers that shaped our good old days, the ones that made us smile, made us dance, and made life just a little bit simpler. Which one do you remember most? Or did we miss your favorite? Share your memories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep the nostalgia flowing.